So, hi, friends. Could you please explain the concept of SigRSV again and why people like me who think ERG is heavily undervalued should know about it? Why don't you have a whack at this, Joe?
Sure. So when the SigUSD framework first came out, there was I'm just going to call it like a misunderstanding in the community around SigRSV that hopefully, as Jed and other instances that are similar roll out, people understand. And that is that Sig Reserve is a representation of the value of the treasury, right? Of the assets held in the reserve treasury, not any type of instrument for longing ERG directly. Yeah, I think there was some confusion about that to where people heard the word long and had a association in terms of, number one, leverage, which doesn't exist here. Made the distinction that they were trading on the value of ERG, and it's a representation of the value of ERG, but it's more complex than that because the treasury balance is going to fluctuate based on other factors and conditions that you really have to watch. Now, Sig Reserve, unfortunately, is a zero-sum game where, if you are a Sig Reserve holder, a part of who you are trading against is other Sig Reserve holders, to where, ultimately, if you're in profit and you're trying to exit, you do want to kind of use potential race conditions to front run people that are also trying to exit, because if they exit first, it's going to, dilute the value of the treasury and, essentially move against your position. Now, longer term, having a over collateralized stablecoin is not sexy in terms of the short term capital efficiency of it. It's more of a I guess for most people at this point, it's more of a longer term, duration. Now, one thing that you have to make a certain assessment of is the use case of SigUSD. And what I mean by that is if SigUSD is being used on decentralized exchanges as a liquidity tool, it's going to have a longer shelf life in markets, meaning I might mint SigUSD and chase some type of return. And, in buying some other asset, Marty inherits SigUSD and he uses it and he chases a return. And then, when he sells it, Dan inherits it and, he kind of chases a return. It depends on the velocity of that stable coin. And one thing that the velocity of money is going to be dependent on here is the amount of assets that are available on the market, and also kind of the nature of the open environment, right? Whether people are feeling the need to chase risk or whether they are more of a risk off scenario. There's always that, temperature change in open markets. Being that SigUSD launched before DEX and before that market was fully established to use speculation as a means of, using it as a stable coin, the short side of it really has been the more predominant use case. And that's always been dangerous. I've tried to get people to understand that. I think that sometimes, speculation got the better of the community, but you have to understand that, number one, it's not a zero-sum game. Number two, it's more of a at this point, kind of an assumption that SigUSD is going to see greater market adoption, which we're working towards, and ultimately becomes kind of like a bond-based instrument based on the treasury itself, not directly speculating on the price of ERG with any type of leverage.